we need to start to change who we are and what we identify with, our identity, right? So the power of our identity. And it's not just identity as a passive thing. It's identity also as a verb, right? Because at least I like to look at it that way, because it's who we are being on a moment to moment basis throughout our days. What thoughts are we having constantly? Not that we can control every thought, but we can start to propagate certain thought patterns and better thought patterns, hopefully, within our lives and within our day to day lives. And we also want to look at how we're feeling, right? This is also intimately connected to our thinking and our thoughts on a daily basis, our emotions and our feelings on a daily basis, right? So these two things are going to be a crucial part of the groundwork that we really need to um, cultivate, almost like we're cultivating a garden, right? Our mind, our subconscious mind, starts to take on a lot of these patterns, the thought patterns, the energy and emotional patterns, the feelings, the states that we're going through day to day. So we want to really become aware of what we're working with on a day to day basis. And sometimes these patterns will change on a day to day basis in our lives, depending on what we're going through. But for the most part, a lot of us have repetitive patterns in our lives. So we need to keep that in mind and be aware. Be aware of what we're dealing with every day of our lives. Because as we do gain awareness of these things, we can start to change these things, right? Maybe there's some patterns in our daily thoughts and feelings that are not the most healthy for us, that are not propagating what we want in our lives, right? And it is crucial that we are thinking correctly and that we're feeling well in order to bring good into our lives. If we want good in our lives, we want to feel good, right? It kind of goes back to the like attracts like thing. You're not going to attract a beautiful life if you're feeling like crap all the time, right? If you're feeling beautiful all the time and you're feeling good all the time and you're feeling joy, you're going to attract more of that into your life. In fact, you are creating it. You're creating it just by your thought and your feeling states. I know Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this. Bob Proctor talks about it as, I think I called him Joe Proctor earlier. I meant Bob Proctor. He talks about paradigms, right? And this is a very powerful notion. What is our paradigm, right? Who are we being? How are we thinking? How are we feeling about ourselves and about our lives? So the more we really start to align these paradigms in our lives and our thoughts and feelings in our lives with what is good and what is wanted, the more we naturally start to attune to those things inherently. I mean, as you start feeling good, your life becomes good, right? As you start feeling love, your life becomes more love and you attract love. So you start feeling strong, you start to feel good, you feel healthy, and you bring more health into your life, and you start thinking about health, and you start doing healthy things and making healthy choices. It's a snowball effect. Even Neville Goddard talks about the fact that consciousness is everything, and in a way, he believes consciousness is reality. Whether or not we believe that, and whether or not we go to that extent, consciousness does affect reality, even on a physics level, even on quantum physics. They explore this a lot. Excuse me. How our thoughts do affect reality, and our thoughts even can affect electrons and atoms, which is pretty crazy to think about, but it is the truth. And they've done the Yamamoto experiment where your thinking can affect water, right? Your thoughts and your speech can affect water. Well, our bodies are made up almost primarily of water. So, what do you think your thoughts and your emotional states can do to your body? And these are powerful things to think about because they do delve into kind of the basis, the foundation of the work we're talking about here, and the foundational truth and reality of our existence is that our minds are more powerful and more integral to our lives and to what we bring into our lives than many of us think, than many of us are taught about. I believe these are things that should be taught in our schools. Children should go into life with some of these skills, some of these tools. And children are great because they kind of already, they intuitively know some of these things, even if they don't really express them in a logical sense. They know these things. They know, in a sense, they're attuned. I should say they're attuned to these things, right? Because children are exploring their imagination all the time. They're in tune with their imagination, oftentimes more so than us as adults. And I think that's a sad thing in our society, and it is not just sad, but it's disempowering that when we become adults, we take on a lot of responsibilities. That part's okay, but we leave behind many integral parts of ourselves, our imagination, and even our joy. And these are things that we need to retake into our lives, reawaken in our lives, and sort of let these plants bloom once more in our lives. Because these plants can essentially help us create what we want in our world. And the imagination is key to that. Neville Goddard talks about imagination as being God or being a part of God. Uh, and I do agree with that. I think that our imagination is a part of divinity, right? And I think it is one thing that separates us from animals, our imagination and what we can create in our minds. Because for us to create amazing things, as man has done, whether they're temples, cities, aqueducts, dams, beautiful, even cultivating beautiful gardens, technologies we've created, medicine to help heal people, the sick. These things all begin in our imagination. You know, beautiful spiritual teachings and doctrines, meditations, yoga, all these things came from the imagination, and I believe they came from a divine source, right? Through our imagination. And in fact, the imagination itself is part of this divinity, in my opinion. It's a faculty that we need to cultivate. Bob Proctor also talks about this because it is one of our primary faculties. We have the imagination, we have memory, right? We need to be using these things. And I think this is a good place to just kind of pause this video. I want to see how this video turned out since I'm using a new webcam here, and I don't know if the quality is up to par. If not, we're going to be utilizing a new one, maybe getting a new webcam or camera. But I think it's very important for us to think about and to really work with these things, and that is, who are we being, what are we experiencing on a day-to-day basis, and how are we using, what are our thought patterns and paradigms, and what are our emotional state patterns and paradigms. We want to become aware of these, write about them, journal about them, meditate about them, think about the parts that are no longer serving you, and start thinking about what you would like to replace those patterns with, and how you want to change your paradigm. In fact, as you go to sleep, think about them. You know, what are a few things you were feeling that day or thinking that day that don't serve you any longer and you want to let go of, and think about what you would like to replace those thoughts and emotions with. Maybe it's a new direction in your life that you want to start focusing on more. It could be health, it could be some new project, it could be gratitude. Gratitude is very potent. And start replacing those things. Start creating, almost reprogramming your brain, your thoughts, your emotions, because you can do it. It's just a matter of awareness and starting step by step each day, looking at the things you don't like so much and adding in the things that you do like and that you do want to bring into your life. And this is going to be a powerful starting point for you and for anyone else, for myself as well. Have a great day, guys. This is Jess coming at you from Jess Mindset. Give us a subscription and a like if you enjoyed this content, and you can check out more of us later. Have a great day.